Everyone, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. It's class number 123, and it's yoga with me, Dave Rennie. It's always a real pleasure to teach on this beautiful platform, the Virtual Village Hall, hosted by the Royal Voluntary Service. Yeah, it's just really lovely to share some teachings with you, which are all passed down, right? None of the stuff that I do is particularly what's the word that I'm looking for? Authentic? No, they are authentic. That's the wrong word. They're not unique. That's what I meant to say. Definitely authentic, right? Everything's from the heart, and that's part of yoga, right? So we're all trying to be as authentic as we can and trust our gut. And that's kind of where they say yoga starts. So there's a thread there. I knew what I was talking about, but all yoga starts at the navel center, energetically, physically, but also, spiritually as well. Don't get worried about that word spiritual. If you think, oh, why is he talking about spirituality? Think about it as wellness. There's a big link there, isn't there? I wanted to share something with you. We're talking about the role of stress and the role of stress that it has in our overall health. And yeah, it's something which I've been talking to a lot of people about this week with regards to medications and stuff like that. And I'm not going to talk anything about medication because medications can be great, but talking about the overall role of stress in our lives. And we don't know when we're stressed, right? Because we can't kind of see it. Even though we can feel it, we sometimes can't sense what that stressful feeling is. So people really discount it in terms of their overall wellness because we think it's all physical. And sure, it all manifests itself in a physical way eventually, but stress can be kind of like quite deep in terms of the way that we recognize it within our body. And we think about the way we hold ourselves, and we think about the way that we interact, and think about how we feel into our body. That's all part of it, can be wrapped up in stressful situations. And life is stressful, right? So, we can't control hardly anything. I mean, we control our environment around us to a certain extent, or we control what we put into our body. So we think about our wellness. We can control what we eat. We can make decisions whether we want to smoke or drink alcohol. We can make decisions whether we want to exercise. We can make decisions on how much sleep we get. Not saying that sleep's an easy thing, by the way, but all of these things kind of fit together. So we do have control over those sort of things to a certain extent, but the big macro picture is we have very little control, and that can be stressful, right? So when we get onto our yoga mat, beyond it being this physical practice, which it is, or it can be, and what I teach on this platform and what I teach in Leicester and in my classes that I teach in the county here in Leicestershire, that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching physical yoga, but wrapped up in that physical yoga, there's so much of it is to do with kind of our emotional, spiritual well-being, right? And you can skip the word spiritual if you don't feel happy with that, but our emotional or our energetic well-being. And that's where yoga goes way beyond it being just a physical practice. There was a study on the BBC website this week, and it said something like, if you want to bring your blood pressure down, do squats or do strength-based exercises. And that makes sense to me, right? I'm not saying that's all you do, but it said that's probably the best exercise that you can do. There's lots of studies that are around now, which is really heartening, actually, where they're saying the best exercise is something that doesn't stress your body too much. You want to get your heart rate up, sure, but they're saying 4 times a week, half an hour of walking 4 times a week, where it's brisk activity, brisk walking. And that's amazing. And you know what? Yoga fits in with that as well. So you can blend and meld yoga into your life. And the beautiful thing about that, it can be physical. So you're kind of building strength and you're building balance. And there's all of this amazing stuff going on. But also it's calming. It's calming the mind. It's calming the central nervous system. There's all of this stuff happening that we can't quite compute. And science is catching up. Science will say now, okay, do yoga, because yoga is great because it calms you down and it's a really lovely thing to bring into your everyday life. And in the past, people have kind of gone, I'm not sure about that yoga stuff. It's out there. you know, and I understand that. I understand that people feel they don't want to do yoga. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm not bendy, I'm not flexible, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm not one of those sort of people. But this is the way I see it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm, you know, a really normal guy called Dave from Leicester, and yoga has been a massive part of my recovery or wellness, and it keeps me on a path, right? It keeps me on a path of wellness, because the beautiful part of it is that I can just get onto my mat, and you guys have probably got that as well, or probably you're curious. So if you are curious and you're joining for the first time, I don't usually speak that much. I do, don't I? Yeah, I do. But I think it's important to kind of just go beyond that. What did you do in yoga? Or is that, did you do a load of chanting and do, I don't like it when they do Omin. And I get all that as well. I like that stuff, by the way. But I didn't at the start. I was like, what is going on? Why is someone asking me to breathe through my nostrils in a weird way? Why are people asking me to chant? But as I felt into it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So, all right, we're going to do some of that today. Should we do some? So hi to Jackie and Irene. Thank you for saying hello. Let's start by lying on our backs. So you're going to lie down on your back. I'm probably not, because I'm going to do a little bit of reading and I can't do it lying on my back. So I'm going to stay here. So find a comfortable position. I'm going to just move a little bit because I don't want to be sat in a position that kind of makes me uncomfortable. So lying down on your mat, maybe bring your feet about hip width apart. And then if your feet aren't hip width apart, then, you know, you can always bring your knees together, or you can place your soles of the feet on the floor. What I'm saying is find something very comfortable. All right. And I'm going to read a little bit about what we're going to do. Some of it I will ad lib, and some of it I'm going to read. So this is a body scan, which I want you to do at the start of the class. So the power of the body scan. Okay. So this really lovely book that I'm reading from a lot at the moment by Naomi Anand says this. She says, slowly we're cottoning on that the central part that stress plays in our overall health and how much it can compromise our immune system and lead to all kinds of seemingly unrelated conditions. We're starting to recognize too that resting properly isn't self-indulgent, just as we've long known that eating well isn't self-indulgent. When we find ourselves in stressful situations, too often we imagine the only way out of them is more striving and pushing harder and stretching ourselves further. Actually, what we really need is to pause and take ourselves to a place outside of it and stop doing so that we can just be. She says, when I feel like I'm fraying at the edges and the thinking part of my brain is in overdrive, urging me to do more, work harder, push myself further, I know it's time for a body scan. The simple, soothing intervention that unfailingly gets me back into my body. So I'm going to join you there now. So let me just make a couple of adjustments. So as you lie here at the start of the class, in whatever position you found yourself in, just feel your bones melting down into the surface you're lying upon. Kind of really feel like the body is letting go. And then back to that idea that Naomi Anand talks about, where she says the simple act of doing nothing. It's not that simple, right? I'm not sure if she actually does say simple, but the act of doing nothing. So this is what we need a lot of the time. And don't worry, we are going to move today. We're going to move a fair amount. But at the start here, just bask in this. Maybe your eyes are closed. Check in with your breath and the subtleness of your body. So usually we can quickly sense kind of parts of our body, you know, the weight of our body on the ground. But sometimes it takes a little bit longer to kind of check in with the subtleness. And the idea here that we're calming our central nervous system, we're bringing everything back into line. You know, this is our true nature, where we shouldn't be feeling, or I don't like the word shouldn't actually, but it's a shame that we feel so stressed and life is tough, right? So even if you're just giving yourself even this first part of the class where you think, all right, I'll join you, Dave, and we'll lie here, then great. Notice your breath in your body. How does your breath feel? And breathe any way that feels good for you. I'm really don't mind, I'm not fussed the way you breathe, as long as it feels nourishing, calming. But just being curious of the breath can be so powerful. And giving yourself this opportunity just to let it all go. And then let's just start that body scan. We won't be here for long, but we certainly won't rush it. So think about your toes and your feet. Is there anything you can relax there? Think about your ankles. And into your calves and your shins and the knees, the backs of the knees. Stay aware of your breath. Notice how your body and your breath kind of react to you. And then maybe into the hips and the lower back, front of the hips. And just that simple act of sending the breath where it's needed. Moving slowly up your spine, your belly, chest, upper back, shoulders. Down through your arms to your fingertips. Sending the breath where it's needed. Where do you need to send the breath? Where is your body intuitively telling you to send the breath? Try not to think about it too much. And then right up into your shoulders, your jaw, cheeks. You might get, kind of super granular and think about tiny parts, maybe your eyes, forehead, ears, earlobes, crown of your head. But keep breathing and just bask in the wonder of your breath, the fact that you've been doing this from the moment you were born. For some of us, it was a bit longer than others. Think about how wise you have become, but also think on the other side where there's still things to work on, right? Always in the process of becoming. I think Carl Rogers said that. He's a person-centered therapist. We're always in the process of becoming. And this can be part of it. Your yoga practice, just this practice, or maybe the other ones that you meld into your life. So hopefully the body has been scanned. And you're sending that deep appreciation to yourself for making it this far. Breathing in, belly rises, breathing out, belly falls back towards the spine. And let's just take 3 more rounds of breath. And when you've taken that third long exhale, just begin to move. So very gently, maybe bring the legs together. Or if your knees were bent, bring your legs down. You might, if that feels comfortable. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up. Stretch out through your fingers. point your fingertips up towards your ceiling or the sky if you're lucky to have found a dry spot in this very wet month we're having. And then as you exhale, draw the arms behind the head. And then just give yourself a really good stretch out. So you're a really long version of yourself. And I like to do this. I like to think about lengthening through my right side of my body, from the right fingertips down to the right toes, as I relax my left. And then I'll swap it out. I'll really find that elongation through the left as I relax my right. And you can kind of move with the breath, and you can move the chin from side to side, kind of rock the head nice and gently. Beautiful. Nice. And then inhale, sweep your arms back up as you exhale. Bring your hands back down. And then this time, bend back into the knees if they were bent before, or maybe it's the first time you've been here. Walk your feet into them right underneath your knees. And then sweep your fingertips down and just press down onto your ankles. So that's the kind of alignment you want. Hands or palms are face down. Inhale, press into all four corners of the feet and just raise up through the hips. So you just come into this nice gentle bridge. You see my head never moves. Don't look at me. Just look straight up. And feel that lovely stretch. Where do you feel it though? As you exhale, roll the spine all the way back down. Nice and slow. Come all the way down. Lower spine will elongate eventually. And then when you're ready, inhale, come all the way back up. So just come back up. And maybe hold in here for a few breaths. Keep breathing. So for me, it's always in the lower spine, but also it's in the front of my body. I can feel it in my hips, the four corners of the feet, just pressing down into the mat, into the earth. Breathe in super deep. As you exhale, roll all the way back down, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. And then if the spine feels good here, just relax it down. Walk the feet wide, let the knees touch. Anywhere you want to bring the hands, your choice. They can come here with the palms face up. They can be on the heart and the belly. Maybe your eyes remain closed. Just breathe into your hands if that's where they are. I'm going to take a really big yawn. Yawning's great, right? Yawning is such a big part of the practice because it's calming the central nervous system. It's letting your body know that, okay, I'm good. I can relax. It's releasing. Let's do one more round of bridge. To separate your knees, sweep your fingertips down. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up. Sorry, your hips up. Your arms are just pressing down into your mat. And just breathe here. You don't have to get too technical here, but knees are about hip width apart. Slight internal rotation. When you're ready, roll all the way back down, bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. And then when everything feels stable, hug your knees back in towards your belly. And then maybe just bring your knees on the inside of your knees, and sorry, your hands on the inside of your knees, and then just rock it out a little bit. You can draw circles, go one way, you can go the other. You might just circle the hips out. So find a movement that feels good, that feels nourishing. Beautiful. Really nice. And then we're going to come up to a seated position and come up any way that feels good. I'm going to roll on my spine a couple of times, but if you don't like to do that, then just push to one side. So if you're here, hands on the back of the legs, just do a couple of rolls. It's good fun. Make sure your head feels okay. And then come to a seated position. Really beautiful start, everyone. Nice. And we've been there for a good amount of time, haven't we? So come to Sukhasana and have a good move around, kind of press the hands down. So what you're looking for here is optimum length in your spine. Yeah, that's what we're doing. You know, we want length in our spine. Why do we want length in our spine? We want to breathe into this part of our body. We want to breathe into the belly and the chest. We want to give ourselves a load of room. Okay, let's bring the hands onto the knees and let's do that physiological sigh that we've done the last few weeks. So remember, it's 2 sniffs in, it's a pause, and it's an exhale through your mouth. Sorry, through your teeth. So it's a shh. Okay, so the sniffs are slightly different. The first, it's a long sniff, and then it's a short, sharp sniff. Then we hold our breath, and then we let the breath go. But when you hold the breath, only do that if it feels good. Don't do it if it induces any anxiety. So breath can be very, very calming for some people, and on the other side of the spectrum, sometimes it doesn't work for you. So find a breath that works. So sitting nice and tall. My palms will just be face up because it feels comfortable, and I'm kind of offering myself. All right, so maybe with the eyes closed, take a deep inhale through your nostrils. And then another sharp inhale. So this one's quicker and sharper. Lungs are full. Pause the breath. Squeeze the belly up and in. And then when you're ready, teeth together, just exhale through your teeth. Second round, inhale through the nose. And then a nice sharp inhale. Pause the breath. When you're ready, exhale, grit the teeth, and then nice and relaxed out through the teeth. Let's do two more. Inhale. Inhale again. Pause the breath. Light holding, don't strain. Exhale, let it go. Final round, calming the central nervous system. Nice deep inhale. Short, sharp inhale. Pause the breath. Nice and relaxed through the face. Exhale, let it go through the teeth. And then just let the breath come back to a nice steady rhythm. Maybe in and out through the nose. What we're doing there is when stressful situations become us and we try and think our way out of it, we know the breath is always the door. It's always the key. It's always our way out of those troublesome moments. And sometimes it takes practice, but the more you practice, the more you can keep coming back to the breath and use it as this tool. You think about the body as the infinite pharmacy within. You know, we've got all of this amazing work that we can do. The breath is so healing. I'm not saying it heals everything. I would never say that. But all I'm saying is that when we're stressed, the breath can get you out of those situations. Beautiful, everyone. All right, lean back into the hands. Bring your other shin in front. And then have a little move around. Nice. Take an inhale. Sweep your arms up into the air. As you exhale, just twist to the right. So your left hand on the right knee, your right hand behind. So you find this position. Inhale, find length. Sit a bit taller. Exhale, twist over to the right. Eyes can remain closed or the gaze is nice and soft. And you just keep breathing in your rhythm. So nice deep inhale. Full exhale. One more like that. Your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. Nice. Come back to center. Take an inhale. Sweep your arms back up. It's a nice movement to do. As you exhale, just twist over to the left. Right hand on the left knee. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist. Just a little twist, not a big one. We don't need to twist big here. We can just let it be nice and gentle. Deep inhales. Full exhales. One more like that, your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. Nice. And then come back to center. And then just walk your hands forward. So you're just going to come into a cross-legged forward fold. And just take a few breaths here. Maybe move around a little bit. So I always think about my pelvis and it kind of just tilts forward. And then I'm not trying to get down too low. I'm just going to breathe and move and just send the breath where it's needed. Sometimes it's nice to walk the hands right over to the right and feel that delicious stretch down the left-hand side of your body. Give me a few breaths here and then maybe come back to center and swap it out. Simple movements here, guys. Nothing too strenuous. Kind of breathe into the body. See where you're holding tension, if that's where you are holding it. And then come all the way back to center. Walk the hands back, all the way back. Release your feet and then just drop your knees to either side. Just bring some movement in. Nice. Beautiful. And then come with the other shin in front this time. So see if you can remember where that is. And just a little bit of movement through our neck. So sitting tall again. Give yourself loads of room to breathe into. And then think about your nose and just draw circles with your nose. So maybe inhaling as the head comes up. Maybe exhaling as the head comes down. find out what you need. You will never know until you get onto your mat. And just pick a direction and breathe into it. Maybe the eyes are closed. Inhaling up, exhaling as your chin falls down. And then come back to center and swap it out. Remember, it's a new movement, so it can be really slow the first few rounds. And then you may want to make it a little bit bigger. Your choice. Breathe into it. Inhale, come all the way back to center here. And then take a full exhale. Beautiful. Nice. Let's come on to all fours. All right. And then when you arrive on all fours, maybe just stretch one leg back. Couple of breaths. Stretch the other leg back. Couple of breaths. Beautiful. And then just move for a few rounds of cat-cow, like we normally do when we're in this position. Inhale, drop your belly down, lift your head and your heart. Remember to pad out your knees if you need to. Exhale, round your spine. Just nice gentle movements as you inhale, drop your belly down, lift your head and your heart, expand everything out. As you exhale, find the other side of it where you round your spine, tuck your navel back. Nice. And then inhale, come back to center. And then just walk your hands forward. So the most important thing here is that you keep your hips high. So your hips are stacked right over your knees. So have a quick look at where I am. That's your position. The arms stay lifted. If it feels too much, lay your forearms down like this. If you can keep the arms lifted, great. Just stay on your forehead. Or if that feels too much, you can always bring something underneath your forehead, like a blanket or a block or a book. Don't strain the back of the neck. This is melting heart pose. Melt your heart centered down towards the floor. And just breathe here. Breathe it out. And find that length in your spine. Deep, rich inhales, full, releasing exhales here. Nice, beautiful. And then from here, lay your forearms down on the floor if they're not there already, and then shoot your legs back, and then come to lie down on your belly. Quite a lot of work into the spine here. Come into Sphinx pose, and keep your elbows underneath your shoulders. Have a little wriggle around if you need to. Yeah, it's nice to bring that movement in. Spread out through your fingers. Really nice instruction here. As the fingers spread, imagine pulling the mat back towards you. So you kind of bring a little bit of activation through your forearms and then spread out through your fingers and pull your mat back. Think about the space in between your shoulders. Can you release anything there? And then breathe deeply into your lumbar spine. Lower spine, that's kind of going to be where you feel it more than anything. Breathe in deeply here. Maybe close your eyes. And we'll just spend a little bit longer in this Sphinx. Come back to your breath. If you know that Ujjayi breath is where you just restrict the throat on the exhale so it becomes a little bit audible. If you know it, then feel free to kind of bring it into your practice. Ujjayi breath. sometimes called oceanic breath because it sounds a little bit like the sea, waves of the sea. And take 2 more rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Then when you're ready, just bring one hand on top of the other. Wing your elbows out nice and wide and maybe look to the right or the left. It doesn't matter which way you look. The right hand's on top, then it's a little bit more intuitive to look to the right, but it doesn't matter. Maybe have a little wriggle through your hips. The eyes can remain closed. And just like at the start of the class, when we were lying down and we were kind of scanning the body, maybe scan the body now that you're, over half an hour into your practice and hopefully feeling a little warmer, a little bit more stretched out, a little bit more in tune with your breath and connected. And sometimes this art of doing nothing can feel really luxurious. It's sometimes hard to kind of energize yourself to do much more. But remember, you don't need to do much more. This letting go, this calming of the central nervous system, so important. Beautiful, really nice. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then press into your hands. Keep the elbows tucked in so you can feel the elbows right at the side of your body. And then press yourself back up onto all fours. Nice. Split your knees wide, then we'll come into a child's pose. So again, another really nice gentle stretch through your spine. Bring your arms forward. And by no means feel like you've got to be still here. If you want to move this around a little bit, then feel free. You might want the hands over to the left, stretch down the right-hand side. Maybe the hands come over to the right and you stretch down the left. Whatever feels good for you. You bring those movements in, or maybe there's no movement. Maybe it's just about, you know what, Dave, I want to be still and I want to send my heart center down. I want to soften. I want to just check in what I brought onto the mat. Take 2 more complete rounds of breath. And when you're ready, with the hands stretched out front, pull yourself back to all fours. Beautiful. Tuck your toes under and come into downward facing dog. I promise you we would move a little bit. Nice. And maybe bend one knee, bend the other. Kind of fine lengthen your spine. What do you need to do to make this downward facing dog feel really good? For me, nice big bend in the knees, lengthening. Nice. And then from here, bend your knees into your hips, up between your hands, and then just step. Nice big step with your right foot, then with your left foot, and then go really wide at the feet, and then hang in a standing forward fold. Just hinge at the hips. Any degree that feels good for you. Remember, you can have the hands on the knees like this. You can come up a bit higher, hands on the thighs, or you can grab opposite elbows, or just let your fingers graze down onto the floor. And any movement that feels nice for you. Beautiful. And then from here, with the hands dangling, just come to roll all the way up. Come to stand. Nice. And then walk your feet right underneath your hips. Have your feet about hip width apart. Hands are going to come to heart center. All right, here we go. Let's move with the breath. Inhale, sweep your arms up. As you exhale, fold in deep. Nice. Inhale, lengthen. Come up halfway, just lengthen your spine. As you exhale, step one foot back and then step the other foot back. And then when you arrive, just separate your feet and inhale, come into your plank. Nice. As you exhale, lower to the floor. Drop your knees and do it. Be nice and gentle. Elbows tucked in. Come down. Inhale. Come into your cobra pose. And then as you exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips and just rebound back into downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. So deep inhale, full exhale. Nice, one more like that, your deepest inhale. And your fullest exhale. And bend your knees into your hips, not between your hands, and then gently bring yourself to the top of your mat. Step 1 foot forward, then the other. Take an inhale to come up halfway. As you exhale, fold in nice and deep, then press down into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up high and wide. And then as you exhale, just frame your hands to heart center. Nice. From here, we're going to come into warrior 2. So you're going to step your right foot back. So a nice big step with your right foot. And then as you do that, maybe line up your heels. So think about your back heel and your front heel, and you want to draw a line between the two. Nice. Bring your arms out. Bend into the left knee. Nice. So you kind of lunge into that left knee, and you come into this classic warrior 2 shape. You can turn the palms up, you can turn the palms down, kind of roll the shoulders a little bit. This back leg's nice and strong. Try not to do this where you surf over the front hip. You want this position where you've got nice length down both sides of the waist. Don't stick your bum out, tuck your tailbone under, maybe widen your stance just a little bit. Nice. Breathe in deeply here. You can look down the left arm if you want. I'll leave it up to you. Maybe a little bit more bend into the front knee. Nice, everyone. Take 1 more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down onto your hips and then just straighten out through that left leg. Turn your left foot in. So now they're facing the short edge of your mat. And then just heel toe your feet in. Nice. And then give your legs a good shake. Come back to the top of your mat. I'm going to the other side, but you guys can remain where you are from your position. And then this time, left leg back, just so I can keep an eye on what's going on. That's why I've moved to the other side. If you want to, you can feel free. Nice to open the arms out. Nice. And then find that alignment. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. And then just fold in or bend into that right knee this time. Again, play around with the arms if that feels good. Breathe in deeply here. Tuck your tailbone under. And here we are in warrior 2. Look down the right arm. Feel that activation through your shoulders. So the arms are kind of not like this. Really lengthen the arms out, fingertip to fingertip. Relax the space in between your shoulder blades. Maybe bend a little bit deeper into the front knee. Keep that length in the back leg. Nice. Bring your hands down, hands on the hips. And then this time, with your feet, nice and wide, lining up with the short and long edge of your mat, come into a standing forward fold. Now, I'm not asking you to come down very far today. Maybe have a bend in the knees, kind of press into the outer edge of the feet. You can bring the hands down. You can kind of rock it around a little bit. You can always bend into one knee and kind of walk to one side, kind of move around a little bit, whatever feels good. Kind of make it a little bit fluid. You can do this kind of thing. You don't have to use the hands. Sorry, they're on the floor. You can kind of just kind of have the hands in prayer. Just kind of freestyle it a little bit. Try not to kind of move too quickly. Be gentle though. Come back to center. Bring the hands back onto the hips. Inhale, press into the legs. Come all the way back up. Nice. And then find yourself back at the top of your mat. So come to stand and then give your legs a nice shake out. All right. One more little bit of flow. Take an inhale, sweep your arms back up. As you exhale, fold back in. Nice. Step back into your plank, one foot then the other. And then bring your knees down onto your mat. And then we'll do it this way. You're just going to lengthen out through your right leg. So nice amount of length. Press into the toes. Then turn your right toes to the long right edge of your mat. Kind of seal the outer edge of your foot. And then left hand right in the middle. And then inhale, right arm up. So it's like an adapted side plank. You know, if you want to bust out a full side plank, feel free. But I'm staying here today. Staying down. Just being supported here. You want to feel that length down the right-hand side of the body. You can look up, we've worked into the neck. You can look down, whatever feels good. Take one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, swap it out. So this time you're going to be on the right shin, lengthen out through the left leg, turn the left toes out, right hand into the center, inhale, left arm up. Breathing deeply. You can just let the head hang. You can look up to the fingertips. Whatever feels good for you. Really press into the outer edge of that left leg that's nice and long. Take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, bring the left hand down to meet the right. Move through 4 rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, drop the belly down, lift your head and heart. Exhale around your spine. So just moving in this nice fluid way. Nice. And then when you're ready, inhale, come back to center. Just flip over onto one hip. I'm just going to roll onto my right hip, sweep my left leg behind, right in front, sorry, my right leg out in front, and then come to lie down on your mat. Come down any way that feels good. Hook your knees in towards your belly. Beautiful. And then just one final little move around here, a little bit of movement in the lower spine. Rock it out, whatever feels good. And then set yourself up in the final position. We'll spend like 2 or 3 minutes here. So it's worth setting up where you feel really relaxed. And maybe just let the breath go completely. If it feels safe, you can close the eyes. And then from this position of stillness, maybe deepen your breath just a little bit. And because it's an online class, if you do want to remain lying there and you feel really comfortable, then feel free. You don't have to get up now. You can give yourself a little bit extra. And if you want to move a little bit more, then maybe bend the knees in towards your belly. Be nice and gentle here. Maybe stretch the arms above the head. Nice big yawn if that feels right. Beautiful. And then we'll all arrive back in a seated position. Get there any way that feels good. I will slide towards you. Take your time. There's loads of time to just finish this class off. Beautiful, everyone. Nice. And then just take a few rebalancing breaths. Find a position for your hands that feel good. Maybe close your eyes. Notice the effects of your practice. Beautiful, nice. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center, press your thumbs into your sternum, sit nice and tall. Thank yourself for showing up, for turning up, for getting onto your mat, for practicing together, for spreading your goodness, and just being curious about the ways that you nourish yourself. And then just with a wholehearted bow, wish yourself well, wish everybody else well. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. It's really nice to practice. I had to really concentrate there not to fall asleep in Shavasana. Sometimes it happens, right? But hopefully when I'm not doing a live class, hopefully that worked for you. Thank you, Irene. It's really nice to have you along. Thank you to you, Margaret. Always lovely to have you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you to the Virtual Village Hall. I will return next week. Is that right? Yes, I will return next week. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you, Isabel. And take that with you. And remember, if you wanted to do any more reading, this beautiful book, Yoga: A Manual for Life by Naomi Anand, my favorite book ever. I recommend it wholeheartedly. And she's got some really nice resources online as well. All right, everyone, look after yourselves. I've got one more class to teach later on. I think I might have a little snooze now. If you can have a little snooze, make it a good one. All right, take care. Namaste.